Welcome to the Michigan Outdoors podcast. As always, I'm Tyler Mihai along with Justin Tomei, Steve Wyndham. We are joined by Alan Crater, president of Stevens Advertising, author of Outside and Shorts and For Everything There Is a Season, vice president of Pere Marquette's Trout Unlimited, and a contributor for the Michigan Outdoors magazine, among many other things. We are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and a video edition on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you're not already, give us a follow on Instagram at Michigan Out of Doors Pod and tag us in all your future hunting and fishing successes. And the Michigan Outdoors podcast is proud to partner with OnX Hunt. Join the millions of hunters who trust OnX Hunt to help them fill their freezers. Create hunt strategies for your property with custom waypoints, view wind forecasts for individual stand sites, integrate with cell cameras, and so much more. OnX is essential for hunters to understand property lines, find and e-scout public land and other hunting spots, and all of the other tools to give yourself the best possible chance at a successful hunt. All current MUCC members are eligible for a 1-month free trial of OnX Elite and an additional 20% off your annual membership. New MUCC members will get a free 3-month trial of OnX Elite in their welcome email when signing up. To find your current membership discounts, log into your MUCC member portal and click on the membership discounts link to see all of the benefits of being an MUCC member. Join MUCC today to take advantage of these offers. All right, we are back for episode 6. Alan, welcome.
Thank you.
Guys, how we doing?
Doing good. Thanks for being here, Alan.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. And like, share, follow. Make sure to follow us on all the different social media platforms. Like, share, and
except YouTube Music, because Tyler won't put us on YouTube Music.
Because you're the only person that uses it.
Yeah.
So
YouTube is just fine. You can see all of our pretty faces.
Alan, did you know that there is a
No.
YouTube Music?
I had no idea.
Exactly. You're not alone.
Well, I'm 50, so
It doesn't matter.
no, it doesn't matter.
No, Justin's the only one that uses
untapped
that.
potential.
That's great. I
It
would
has
love
8
another
billion
5
users.
listens. No, it doesn't.
No, YouTube is good enough. So we have to do open with some housekeeping really fast. So we've got a couple emails to the podcast at MUCC inbox. So again, all of our listeners, if you have any suggestions or ideas or comments, make sure to email us at podcast@mucc.org. But just one hot piece of housekeeping we want to clean up. In episode 2, we made a comment that they don't read the hunter safety test to you. And so we have to correct that by actually there is an opportunity where if you do have to take hunter safety, they will read the test to you if you need it. So make sure to go get your hunter safety certifications.
They read me my test in 1999 when I took it, and the guy teaching the class would be like, question, blah, 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 and he'd read it, and he goes, A, blah, blah, blah. Is it B, blah, 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 blah. Is it C, blah, blah, blah. So it was pretty obvious, pretty hard to fail that one.
Some good hints.
Traverse City Civic Center, 1999.
Mine was at Williams Gun Site in 2000.
I went there one day and they were having a class, and I'm like, why in the hell are there so many people there? Because I'm there trying to buy guns.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, we have hunter safety class, and they just got out and they're coming over here now.
Shout out Williams.
All right. Do we want to get into some policy really quick?
Yeah, it's going to be real quick. So there was an election on November 5th, and we don't need to talk about the national stuff, but here in Michigan, the Republicans flipped the House. They will now have a majority for the 24-25 legislative session, which means my December is fixing to be insane because with the Democrats losing the majority in January, lame duck is probably going to be just absolutely bonkers.
Gonna be crazy.
It's going to be like I'm going to get a cot, sleep in the office, take showers in the sink. It's going to be crazy. Now, that being said, there's no major conservation or natural resources legislation out there that I'm like super worried about. They have mechanisms to do whatever they want whenever they want. But because they only have really 3 or 4 weeks of working time left to get stuff done, we're going to have to be vigilant. So, we have a policy action center on our website. You can go there. You can sign up for email and text alerts and things like that. If there's something that comes up that's important that you need to act on, I will let you know. But yeah, lame duck is going to be, it's going to be rough. Guns are the biggest thing I'm worried about, honestly, is
Things are going to get pushed through in the middle of the night.
yeah, it's going to be gun control stuff is the big stuff that we're going to be playing defense on in my expectation. So you never know. They may do some hunting bill or something that that it doesn't exist yet, but we're not really hearing any rumors. I think that they have bigger fish to fry, pun intended. So we'll see. But yeah, Republicans flip the House. So it's going to be a new world now with split government again in Michigan.
Well, and that also is a good reminder to join MUCC so our voice is louder and we carry a bigger stick here in Lansing so that we can protect our natural resources and outdoor heritage. So, whichever way you lean doesn't matter. We're nonpartisan. We're here to worry about the natural resources and the outdoor heritage. So sign up so that we can get stuff done as we move forward with our state's current government.
Yeah, I always open every time I testify with, Michigan United Conservation Club's 40,000 members and 200-member clubs. So if we get more people, I get to say a bigger number. Bigger numbers matter because bigger numbers represent more voters. And that's all politicians care about.
And then we had a NRC meeting not too long ago, and we have another one coming up.
Yeah, so November 7th, NRC meeting, very uneventful. That was at downtown Lansing Community College campus. There was nothing for action, nothing for information, meaning the December meeting will also not have any orders up for action. Mostly what they talked about, and this is a TU thing, I think TU's presenting this week, or this presented, about a beaver policy to deal with beavers that are causing problems on designated trout streams. And I saw it presented to me at the Cold Water Resources Steering Committee, and it's basically just a kind of a decision tree to whether or not they remove the beavers in the dams in these streams if the raising water temperatures are causing problems with the trout stream. And it's fairly common sense and straightforward, and they tried to be as objective as they could. For instance, the first question is this a designated trout stream or a stream where trout are present? But it just kind of puts a policy in place where there wasn't one before. And I don't know what TU's going to say about it really, but it happened. And so as a result of there being nothing up for information in November, the December 12th meeting at Lansing Community College West Campus will probably be another pretty short one with really no commission or director orders up for action.
Open to the public, too.
Open to the public. We
So-
stream them on our Facebook if you can't watch it. At MUCC's Facebook, I stream every live meeting. And we're trying to make the audio better, but we do it.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
Yep.
I blame the government personally.
All right, and on that note, a big thank you to one of MUCC's newest partners, GK World Championship Calls. As a proud 100% Michigan-based company, GK has built a reputation for delivering customer service that is second to none. With some of the most accomplished callers in the world, they have been successful in winning every major title on the goose calling circuit. GK is also proud to be a sponsor of numerous hunting organizations all over North America that make it a priority to get the young men and women involved in the great sport of waterfowling. They strive to educate the youth on the importance of conservation, safety, and respect for the sport. MUCC members receive 20% off their order with our exclusive discount code found in your MUCC member portal.
Perfect time of year for a call.
It is a perfect time of year.
Not unless they make deer calls.
I have been
No,
unable to call any birds in yet. Well, I've called them in, just haven't shot.
You haven't shot any.
Yeah.
How many birds you call in, Steve?
I haven't called in any or shot any either.
How many deer you seen?
I've seen a few deer. It's a nice
How many
one.
deer have you seen outside your truck?
There's a nice one.
How many
nice
deer have
one.
you seen outside your truck?
There's a nice one out here behind
That's
the
true.
office. Nice big 8-point.
Yeah, I saw we saw
see
Dylan
that.
fawns today.
Yeah, trying to figure out if we can harvest the one that's here on our property.
Yeah, we got a big old 8-point.
There's a
We'll see.
well, we're working on it. We got the best legal minds in the office on it.
Yeah.
We got to figure out if the legalese is airtight or not,
Yeah.
and then we can hopefully see what happens.
I would think archery, right? Like,
Yeah, we'll see.
We're working on it.
It's not a game. It's not a game violation.
It's not as black and white as the people that wrote the law probably wanted it to be. I
Sure.
will say
Yeah.
that much.
Sure.
We are definitely would be existing in some gray area. State law, we'd be fine.
Yeah, it's a township
It's
ordinance.
local
we have to
stuff
figure
that we're
out.
trying to weed through. But
Kentwood's that way a little bit too, isn't it?
yeah, you. Oh God, I live in Kentwood, and you have to have like 5 acres to be able to discharge a weapon if it's not self-defense, and so even like bows and stuff. Because there's this field that I drive by, that I used to drive by when we took our daughter to daycare, and it had deer and turkeys every year.
Kentwood's loaded.
Yeah, and then now it's goose. This
City
time.
deer.
Goose this time.
City
of year.
deer.
City deer. The amount of trophy bucks that are around Livonia is insane.
I saw a 3-legged deer right
Really?
across the street from my house. My wife is pulling in. She's in the left turn lane to turn into our driveway. She calls me, goes, "Look out the window at this deer running across the cemetery." And I look, and it's like hobbling, and I look at it, and I go, She's like, I think it was hit by a car. And I don't think it was hit by a car. It didn't have its right front leg.
Oh, man.
And it was just sprinting across the cemetery.
Just completely
Like
gone.
from an accident or like maybe born that
No,
way?
it looked, there was no blood, red.
Yeah.
I mean,
Carnage.
it just looked like
Not
it didn't
there.
have a leg. Yeah.
MIA.
And yeah, so we get deer in our yard all the time. The neighbor used to, shouldn't say this. He's dead now though. Oh, it turns out he told me one time before he died.
Statute of limitations.
He
For
he
sure
had
on him.
he used to put bait piles out with cell cams on them,
Yeah.
or not cell cams, but just with trail cameras, just to see when he used to get nice bucks in his backyard all the time. But
I bet.
Oh,
he's
I-
been dead for a minute. So.
I go shed hunting around Livonia in the city parks and like some of the little tiny public areas. And as I'm walking the property lines, there are people with corn piles in their
really?
backyards in the city.
Really?
Like, yeah, because it's like they think they think they're pets.
Yeah.
They want them to come in and they
Oh.
take pictures of them and they want to see them and look nice.
So 2001, my first turkey season. We were going from one property to another, checking out birds, and we saw these birds on a piece of public land, and we could access it, but we would have had to go around like 2 miles and then walk all the way back in. Or we knock on this door and we go like 200 yards to get to these birds. So we knock on this door and we talk to this lady and she goes, oh, those birds? Yeah, we feed them. They're our pets. They're not really their pets, but like, they're
Yeah.
like our pets.
They like to watch them.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, if you hear a shot, then it's not us.
Yeah.
And we drove the 2 miles around, walked all the way back, shot those damn birds. Like a half hour after talking to that lady, she had no. And the next year, so 2001, I was 13. The next year, they had ribbons out on their front, like trees along their thing. We called them the Save the Turkey ribbons.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I mean, if you hear a shot, it's not us. It was it was a nice bird too. It was like 9.5-inch beard.
Yeah, because it was corn raised.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
corn fed,
Someone's backyard.
protected.
It was out strutting on in these fields on public land. So it was
Felt
whatever.
safe.
He was not, but it is not turkey season right now.
Not right now. What? Yeah. No, it ended on the 15th, didn't it?
The fall. I'm
The
saying
fall,
spring. I don't.
Yeah, fall season.
There's no fall turkeys where I deer hunt. Or there's no turkeys where I fall deer hunt, or the places where there are birds, there are no licenses.
Oh, sucks
So,
for you.
I don't buy a fall turkey.
Archery's in full swing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like the rut's in.
Oh, big
Oh,
time.
man,
Right?
I haven't
Oh,
been
yeah.
seeing it.
For
Cruising,
sure. Yeah.
crushed in.
I've seen little bucks farting around, but I haven't seen anything substantial. I had a nice buck in front of me this past weekend, and I had a decoy covered in frickin' estrus out in front of me, and he couldn't, and the wind blowing right to him. He could not care less. He was just
Surprising.
munching acorns in the hardwoods behind me, and him and another buck. It was a big 8-point and a smaller 6 or 8. I don't know what he was, but yeah. I have not experienced anything substantial yet, and I know it should be going on. This time of year is usually
They are
My
moving
bread and
right
butter.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're moving like crazy.
Yeah, they are.
They're chasing tail.
I mean, I saw 3 bucks this weekend, and all they were focused on was running does.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
it's
Yeah.
weird.
Charging.
I'm seeing a ton of deer this year, though.
Yeah.
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 Any success for you, Alan, yet?
No, not for me. My boys have both had success. My oldest son took one on opening day. He had just a killer spot. He saw 3 bucks opening morning,
Nice.
missed one of them, and shot another one.
Okay. At least he
Within-
got it.
While I was from my drive to my house to my office, which is pretty short.
Yeah.
That was the difference between when he missed the first one and he shot the second
Wow.
one.
Okay.
Because he called and he's all shook up, and then he called me back and he's like, "Oh well, okay."
Got this one. Yeah.
So he did
Second
really
time.
good. Yeah, second time's a charm. And then my younger son shot a doe this weekend. He passed on he blew his chance on a big buck, passed on a smaller buck, and then took a doe that we were tracking through hell and gone yesterday. So
Okay.
Nice.
You got it back, though?
got it back. Yep.
Good to
Hanging
go.
in the garage.
Nice.
Good to go. Justin, how many you shot?
3 so far.
Still
Just
3?
the same 3, yeah. So the last time we recorded, I just shot one. I have a 5-year-old, and she's been going out with me on the weekends a little bit, and we got our first deer together. And
Oops.
we got our first deer with her there, and so she was pretty stoked, and she's hooked. Well, yesterday, I came home from up north, and she asked to go hunting last night. I'm like, it's going to be cold and windy. She's like, I don't care, let's go hunting. I said, okay. So we took her out last night, and it was cold and windy. We only saw a little 4-point. We've seen this damn 4-point 3 times, and can't kill it. And I wanted to so bad. Well, I want to less now that I've shot a deer with her.
Yeah.
But it came out on opening day, 15 yards broadside. And I'm just like, she's like, are you going to shoot it? I'm like, I can't. It's too small. She's like, why? I'm like, because they made the rules. It says so. So I don't have APRs in
Yeah.
It's indoor.
Yeah.
And but the landowners all got together and agreed.
Okay.
So there's the rules on the property now. But yeah, so
Where do you guys sit on the ground? How do you hunt with a 5-year-old?
I had a tent blind and
Yeah, yeah.
pop-up blind. I actually
It needs to be soundproof.
man, bring her tablet. It's good enough.
Isn't that defeating the purpose of being outside?
Yeah, but like it keeps her quiet and it keeps her still. So,
Yeah.
but no, we have a pop-up blind,
Yeah.
and then I have a tree stand, like 3 feet out the back door of the pop-up blind that if she's not there, I sit in. But
Yeah. I don't know. I think a win's a win. Like the tablet, yeah.
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
you're kind of missing it out.
Bring
You're
a
missing
coloring
it, but-
book or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
we've been seeing
Or
a
a
lot
real
of deer
book.
out there, and so like when I notice a deer, I'll be like, hey, check out this. Or when I shot that deer, I'm like, this actually happened really fast because where I'm sitting, especially right in the last few minutes, I'm just hard scoping this lane where they come out of the corn. And I go, Mia, there's a deer. And I just leaned forward because I took my crossbow with me that day because it's easier in the ground blind with her
Yeah.
than with her. So I just leaned forward into the crossbow, flicked the safety off. And I'm like, Mia, there's a deer. And she looks and I go, that to stop the deer. And my daughter goes like this. And the deer didn't stop, and I did it again, and then we shot it. And then she stood up and watched it run across the field, and we got out. She goes, Dad, give me a flashlight so I can track it with you. I know where it went.
That's cool.
And it was within 10 yards of where she said it was.
That's
So
awesome.
it worked out really well. But, yeah, just a 3 for me still. So
Oh, that's it.
that's
Yeah,
it.
Just,
that's
yeah,
it.
right. Just
It's
3.
all antlerless deer. I haven't killed any bucks.
That's
but
all right.
Well, his target's 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Legal
killed 22
number.
this year, so
Yeah.
Okay.
3 down, 19 to go.
Yeah,
I'm going
you're-
to keep shooting does. They keep walking in front of me, especially indoor. So
Your family likes to eat it?
Yeah, we'll eat. Me and my wife and daughter would eat. We'd eat 6 if I got them.
Yeah.
But I like making brats, so like my whole next year is gonna be different flavors of brats.
Yeah, right.
And
on.
jerky.
You do it yourself?
Yeah.
Nice.
I took my first deer to the processor in 15 years this year, and
Yeah.
I will never do it again.
Yeah.
Because it was a new processor that my buddy uses up north, and it was the first time nobody had ever got their hunter sticks. I'm like, oh, I'll get 10 pounds of hunter sticks, see what they taste like, and if I'd have just got a normal standard cut, it'd been like $150 and then $50 for them to skin it, which I didn't know I could save money skinning it myself. And then with the hunter sticks, it was like $300 total. I'm like, screw that.
That's a
Yeah.
dent.
All I gotta do is, I've joked about on here. Just gotta buy my wife a bottle of wine and turn on The Bachelor or something stupid, and the deer just magically packages itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was dumb. I'm never doing that again.
Wow. Yeah, that's steep.
And the hunter sausage. The hunter sticks, they're okay. You guys had one today.
They were good.
Yeah.
They're
Is
fine.
there another pack in the fridge still?
Yeah, there's another pack in the fridge.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
like
for long.
$50 a package though. So
Nine,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
$9
right,
a
exactly.
pound is what I paid for the hunter
Really?
sticks after it was all said and done. So yeah,
Jeez,
and
oh, Pete's.
I get more. I killed a smaller doe than that one, and I got more meat off of it than I did from the processor. So I just,
Right.
I hate it. I hate going to the processor.
You should have just got it ground and did the sticks yourself.
No, it was a young fawn. It was too delicious to grind up.
Jeez. Alan, you guys on public or private land?
So we have 20 acres that we own, but and we hunt on it a little bit. As I get older, I hunt it more than I used to.
Yeah.
A little bit less wandering around, but it's surrounded by federal. We're up in Cadillac.
Okay.
Oh,
And,
nice.
so we got piles of federal all around us, and that's what we typically hunt.
Yeah.
But a little bit of both. I mean, we've taken some bucks off our property too, but 20 acres doesn't really hold deer.
Yeah.
We just get them kind of cruising
Yeah.
through. But, like we were talking, the chasing going on, our
Yeah.
cameras are just blowing up.
Yep.
They always do, like this first week of November, just
Yep.
bucks we've never seen all year. And
Yep.
there they are, and then they're gone.
Yep.
I've been wanting to hunt up there. We have a family cabin on Lake Mitchell.
Oh, yeah, we're real close.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
cool
I-
area.
Yeah.
I was in Mesig. I'm not terribly far.
Yeah, you're real close too. Yeah, Lake Mitchell's cool. That's good fishing too.
It is. Yep. Yeah, we've done very well up there. I've never been able to do too well with the walleye. I feel like they're a little fished out.
Yeah, the
Just-
pike though.
Yeah, we've done very well with pike. Good amount of bass. I mean, we do a lot of pan fishing too, just for a good bluegill fry.
Yeah.
But yeah, fishing up there's been great.
Yeah. My younger son, who's kind of just a crazy fisherman, he caught, I think, probably his biggest bass of his life out of there. I've never. It looked like a joke. It looked like someone photoshopped it. Or
How big was it?
We never taped it. We never weighed it, but
Yeah.
it was. I want to say it was 21, but it looked
Jeez.
like it was 15 because it was so fat.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, it was insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been wanting to ice fish it more, but I mean,
Yeah, what ice?
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What ice,
This
yeah.
year.
Yeah, my
mean,
dad
yeah.
gave me a truckload full of ice fish and stuff, and he lives in Kalkaska, and I got it home, and I'm like, when the hell am I going to do this? I'm never
Yeah.
going to be able. There's no ice down. There's been ice down in Grand Rapids in years.
No,
Hopefully this year.
or Calcutta.
Actually, Eastmanville Bayou
Yeah.
froze over.
man,
Not this past winter, the one before. And my buddy drove by, and he said there were 100 people out on that ice.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like nice thick ice.
At least,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you go through there, it's only 6 foot tall. So
Yeah,
I
true.
won't be able to stand up, keep my mouth above. But
Yeah. Well, we've been trying to snowmobile too because we're right off of 7 right there.
good
luck.
And they're great trails, but it's been 3 years since we've even gotten them out.
Yeah.
'Cause there's just no snow.
No.
Even
been
people in the UP are having
Yeah.
problems with
yeah.
it.
That's usually where you go to
Yep.
snowmobile. And
And Cadillac used to be. I mean, like
yeah.
used to be.
I grew up.
Tons
That's
of
where I
stuff.
learned to snowmobile.
Yeah.
Because we go right across Lake Mitchell, and you
Yep.
can go as far as you
Oh,
want.
yeah.
And you never
They-
worry at all. 16 inches of ice.
we
at
had
times.
snowmobiles for a minute. Yeah, we'd go from Kingsley to Ranch Rudolph.
Yeah, all
Go to
time.
the bar out there, yeah.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No, I know.
Yeah, you still probably get away with it up there some of the year, but
Not last year.
No.
not last year, no.
Jeez.
Last year's miserable, but no. Firearm season hasn't started yet, but it will by the time you guys hear this.
Yep. This will be dropping the
It'll
Monday
be
after
Monday
the
after
opener.
yeah.
Yep.
So, as a reminder, send us in photos, share stories, tag us on posts. So, I'd love to see what everyone's doing out there in the woods and any success that they're having. So,
I'm going to announce it now. Unofficial buck pull contest.
Yep.
Biggest buck or coolest picture that we decide we like, we'll have you on 5-10 minutes tell a story.
Yeah.
let's do it.
There you go.
So there will be an official, you will see the post, there will be an official MUCC buck pull contest. And all you got to do is tag us in your picture at MUCC1937 and use the hashtag MUCC buck pull, and you will be entered to win a hat and decal as well. And then, we'll bring on whoever wins. We'll get them on the podcast,
Yeah, more important than the hat. You will be a niche internet micro celebrity with us.
just like us.
Yep. So,
Conservation superstar.
That's right.
YouTube music.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, listen, it used to be
We'll have to
Google.
describe it.
It used to be a Google thing, and then Google shut it down and transitioned it to YouTube.
I wonder why they
Music
shut it down.
because
It
it
was
was
too-
too
it was
good, basically.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
It is the worst app ever.
You don't even use it. How would you know?
I have it.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I don't ever use it.
Well, maybe you should.
No, YouTube music's horrible.
Oh, you're horrible.
So what's everyone's plans for opening day?
For a firearm,
Yeah.
I will be in Rose City with my buddy Brad, who's got 80 acres up there. Him and his dad and I will be up there hunting that day. So I'll get back from Mexico on the 12th and work the 13th, and then be off the 14th through that Monday.
You going up the night before?
Either the night before or Wednesday or Thursday, I'll be up there.
Cabin, camping?
Yeah, he's got a nice cabin, so he bought the property with a house and a pole barn on it and everything. And all spring long, he sends me pictures of turkeys walking on his front porch.
Nice.
So that's fun to hopefully go get a turkey next
Wait,
year up
on
there.
his porch or
Yeah,
from
like-
his porch?
No, they walk right across his driveway up to his porch, and then they walk off. Like he has it's not even a trail camera. It's like his
A ring or whatever?
yeah, it's like a Simply Safe or his ring
yeah.
camera. And he sends me more ring camera photos than he does trail camera photos because of the turkeys that just walk up on his front porch.
We get bear and deer in my dad's yard. Same thing. He sends me ring videos of bear walking across his yard.
Yeah. So I'll be in Rose City.
Okay.
I'll be in
So-
Kalkaski.
I'll be in Charlotte.
Yeah. Alan?
Yeah, we'll be up in Cadillac, but we sounds like you've got a tight turn. We leave for Montana. My boys and I leave for Montana on the 18th. So
Okay.
I'm cutting it a little
Yeah.
close with the wife because I'm hunting 14, 15, 16, coming home for a day, and then hitting the road for Montana.
What are you guys chasing out there?
Mule deer this time.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep.
How long you been married?
Long time.
Well, she's probably used to it then. It's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't make her less mad.
Listen, if there's young college kids listening, do what I did when I met my wife. So it was 2007, and we started dating, and I said, Ashley, just so you know, deer season starts October 1, goes into January. There's a week or two of turkey season. Like, if I'm not hunting or working, that's where I'm going to be those times a year. And if you're not okay with that, get out now. It's been 17 years, so it works. It's science.
The ultimatum usually works.
It wasn't. It was.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think an ultimatum's fair though. It was setting realistic expectations, clear communication. So yeah, it works.
Yeah, no, setting the expectation up front is good. My oldest son just got married in August, and he had to, kind of set the expectations
Yeah.
a little
Right.
bit because he hunts and fishes like crazy.
Right.
And so we kind of set a schedule for the fall. He has not stayed to the schedule, so he's already
going
in
over.
trouble. Yeah, he's already in trouble.
I had a
Lots
buddy,
of honey-do lists in the
Oh
spring.
yeah.
I had a buddy had a real ultimatum. They started dating, and she's like, "If you don't propose to me by this day and this year, we're done."
Oof.
And he waited till the week before, but he did the other divorce now.
See, doesn't work.
Unsurprisingly,
I don't know. She sounds charming.
she was not. But yeah, so ultimatums don't work. Clear communications and realistic expectations does.
Yeah.
Hashtag marital advice from Justin. But
Be the new Dr. Phil.
I'll be at my dad's house for opener, so I'm heading up the 13th after work, and then last minute, go check on the blinds and stuff on the 14th, and then
Yep.
probably drink beer and play euchre the rest of the night.
Yeah.
I'll sit the 14th with my bow.
Yeah, same.
I
Jesus.
might.
People are pushing, they're putting deer stands up and they're pushing deer all
Yep.
over the place that
That's
day.
perfect.
They push so many deer.
My bow stand and my rifle stand are not in the same spot. My dad lives in the middle of the state forest in Kalkaska, so we set up stands with the philosophy that chaos is a ladder, and we just try and find places where we just know deer are going to get pushed through.
Yep.
And those stands are only good that weekend. Like, we will not hunt them. They'll get hunted 3 days a year.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's just kind of what we've been looking for, and it's worked out pretty well for us. So
Yeah.
a couple of mainstay stands, but for the most part, it's find big open areas that where you can see a ways and see deer. That deer are going to get pushed through. So find those funnels and
Yep.
You guys driving out to Montana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just bring so much stuff. That,
Yep.
Yeah.
So my oldest son lived in Montana. He went to school in Montana.
Okay.
So I used to drive out and not have to bring as much stuff because he had most of it and he'd just kind of meet up with me out there. But now
Yeah.
we got to bring all of it. So
You guys
It's-
camping, like doing the whole backcountry thing?
so we do, that'll be kind of a combination of both. We do a wall tent
Okay.
and then we may go like spike camp a couple days, but we might just day hunt from,
Yeah.
this is a spot, this will be our third or fourth time back to this spot. So we know the area pretty well and you can day hunt it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more fun to be in a wall tent than it is.
I was going to say, those are so
Yep.
nice.
And last
Yeah.
year we did Colorado, and we did the spike camp, and it was in a three man tent,
Yeah.
3-man backpacking
2.5.
tent, 2.5-man tent, and we froze, we were uncomfortable.
Yep.
It sucked for a lot of days, but then you get back to the wall tent, you're like, all right.
I used to live in Colorado, and my first elk hunt was like that, where we just had a little backpacking tent. There were two of us in there, and we woke up that first morning, and it was supposed to be warm. We woke up with like 2 inches of snow on the
Yep.
ground, and the latch to the tent had broken that night,
Oh.
and it was miserable. It was just not. I would have killed for a wall tent.
Yeah.
A little stove in there. And,
Yeah, we got a little stove in there. I mean, I've done a lot of tent camping, and I've done a lot of backpacking and stuff, and I don't mind the cold, but this was real cold. And I mean, the elevation in Colorado is just a
Exactly.
different game because I think that we probably top out in Montana where we started in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you start at 10, 9,
yeah, we
9,
were
10.
like around 9,
Yeah.
8 or 9, but we got up to close to 12.
Yep.
That's a lot more than we
Different
top
game.
out at 8
Mhm.
where we hunt in
Yeah.
Montana.
Yep.
So
I'm hoping to go to Colorado next year.
Yeah.
it's
I think I have enough points. I got to double check with like Go Hunt or something. I think I have enough points to draw first season rifle tag.
Elk or muley?
Elk, yeah. I've staggered my points when I started applying, so I have more elk and then like 1 or 2 less muley and then 1 or 2 less pronghorn so that I can try and go out on a regular basis. But
first rifle would be cool out there.
we're going to do a drop camp too.
Yeah.
For all
Oh,
of the
you're gonna do a
reasons
drop
that you
camp?
just
Yeah.
talked about.
Yeah, I did first.
Just so
rifle.
that we don't have to mess with anything. We know that we'll have somewhere warm and dry to go back to at night.
Yeah.
And, we can get there having kind of know the area, but then also have the guide go. There's elk that way.
Yeah, go that way.
Go that,
Just
go
go
up, go a mile that
walking.
way. Yeah. And so it'll be our first time out there hunting at elevation. So we're like, let's just,
You better start training now.
yeah, oh yeah. Dude, I'm peak physical specimen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we
you
know,
can see
last
it.
week when Logan was sick for 3 days and I was only sick for 1. So
You guys got to stop kissing because neither,
That's
neither,
science.
neither Tyler or I got sick. We
Yeah.
were in the same room
we
for an
got
hour
it
and a half.
from Tyler.
I was sick like 6 weeks ago.
Oh, bullshit. It was like 2 weeks ago.
No, it wasn't.
Oh my god.
Because you both got sick right after I did too, or Logan did.
Yeah.
Well,
you
then he got
yeah.
sick twice.
No,
and
Logan,
Logan got
bearing
sick, like,
evidence.
the
Logan was
day
sick
after
2
I got
weeks, like
back.
2 weeks
That's
ago.
science.
Yeah, he was complaining because he was at home.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's being a baby.
yeah. So yeah, hit the treadmill.
Yeah, we did OTC. We didn't apply. We did the OTC, which
Yeah.
I think
That's gone now, right?
well, I think archery's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
I think you can still get. Is it usually first rifle? I don't know if it's all three or if it's one of them. I can't remember.
We did third, I think.
Yeah, it
second
might,
or third.
It
Colorado?
might, yeah, for
The
OTC.
one of the later ones was over the counter rifle.
Yeah,
First
that's
is a
what I
draw for sure.
I think it depends
Yeah.
on what unit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
I drew
that
my
too.
tag.
You drew your tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some units have second and some have third. I think we did third. It
I think
was late.
all firsts are a draw though, right?
I believe
yeah,
that's
Yeah,
right.
because that's early October.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe that's
Which-
right.
Which
like-
was really nice to hunt first.
That's the other reason I want to go a little earlier, is because I don't want to wake up with a foot of snow
of
on the
snow.
ground when I wasn't kind
And
of
you still
expecting-
might get that in
And you
first.
still may,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Especially at that elevation.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know. That's what I'm
Do
looking
you have
for. for
a
next year.
GMU that you're looking at?
I don't
Or
remember
like
the
a
number
city?
off the top of my head.
You know
I
the
have
city?
some notes at my computer. at home.
I
don't
hunted
remember the name of it.
Steamboat Springs, and it was terrible too because we had been scouting that. We had one GMU. We were scouting it all year. The 2 or 3 days before our hunt, massive wildfire. So every morning we wake up and all this, and we watched it. We were sitting on top of the peak of the mountain, and we could, with binos, we could just watch the fire move. I mean, it was probably 5 miles, 6 miles from us, so we weren't in danger.
No, it's pretty close,
But
though.
we were
Yeah.
We were watching it. I mean, if it was starting to move our direction, we had a good wind. But yeah, we could just watch it spread over the top of the mountain, and you wake up every morning, and it felt like you smoked 2 packs of cigs because you wake up and it all
Alan
sinks.
does that, so yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Not this type of smoke.
I got a buddy. We'll go on a long hike. He'll start getting winded, and I'll hear with the lighter and burning a cigarette.
Yeah, no, you wake up and you're just like crying, your eyes
Yeah.
are watering, like, and then you got to go hike, and
Yeah.
it was miserable.
What
it's
time? That was
beautiful.
October?
Yeah, it was first rifle. Yep.
That's pretty late for the fire still to be going. I mean,
Yeah, it
maybe
was
not.
right at the tail end of them. I mean, that was the year. It was the year before the really big fire. It actually hit my town. I don't remember what the fire was called. It was the biggest fire in the state of Colorado's history. It took down everywhere where I lived. Almost every house was down, and it was in the city. Like I lived right outside of Boulder,
Wow.
and it came in and it took out 860 houses or something. Crazy. I mean, everyone had to evacuate. The scenery from the news is like I recognize, this is my street. I lived a mile from here. I used to drive this every day, and it was just walls of smoke and fire.
Damn.
I mean, it was unbelievable. It was like watching a movie. And we all the time, I mean, a normal day in Colorado, and especially in the summer, you get up and the whole sky looks like a bonfire. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't see the sun, you can't see anything. It smells like bonfire everywhere
Yeah.
you go. If you guys have never seen wildfires, it is, and that was something I thought it would be cool to see when I moved there. I'm like, and it's not a good thing, but it's just there's a level of natural beauty to it, right?
yeah.
Because it is part of
I
what
would
happens
argue
out
it is
there.
a good thing a lot of times.
Yeah, no,
'cause
it is.
It does
Other
refresh
than
the habitat.
Other than structure,
We drove through that big fire. We were out
Yeah.
with the kids on a road trip, and we went from Estes Park up to Custer, South Dakota.
Yep.
And we went up through Fort
Yep.
Collins. And that whole way we were driving, like it was wild because you look up and like the sun looks like red
Yeah.
through the smoke and like the haze of it. And
Yeah.
like we were just hauling down the freeway, driving right through that smoke screen.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I'm trying to remember what it was called. I want to say it was the Coal Creek fire because I think Coal Creek, but it was terrible. My old roommate had to evacuate. His house was safe, but I mean it was just surreal.
It was wild watching the smoke come up over the mountains because we were going through some of the mountain passes as you go like into Wyoming from Fort Collins, and you'd look up at this sheer vertical wall and it's just smoke billowing over, and you're like, man, that's probably pretty close.
Yeah.
And so they were like, don't stop.
But then when you
keep
can
driving.
actually see the fire
Hide
too,
and keep it moving.
it's different. I mean, it is. It's really pretty to watch as long as there's no
Yeah.
damage to structures, and it is how nature reinvigorates itself. But that was one of the big things for me moving there. I'm like, oh, I have to be worried about everything I own burning down, and it was
Insurance.
yeah.
We should get an insurance partner for that for the podcast.
Right.
Get an insurance sponsor. Start plugging insurance.
Yeah, but hunting out there is beautiful. It is,
Yeah.
but it's so different. I mean, you try to compare that to whitetail hunting.
It's
It's just not
Yeah.
even the same type of hunt.
Do you guys go somewhere new every year, or you said you've been back to this place a few times now?
Yeah, we've been back to this place a few times. We like to kind of try different stuff, but I mean,
Yeah.
Colorado was kind of a flyer. We applied 4 different states, and we didn't draw any of them.
Okay.
So then we just bought OTC
Yeah.
tags for Colorado. And we ended up getting, when I did the research on the area we were going to, it said, shoot the first legal bull that you see. And that's what we
Right.
did.
Okay. Fill the freezer.
Yeah.
I tell you what I miss is paying the resident tag fees.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Because I think I paid like $44 for an elk tag.
Yeah, that's what my son did when he was in Montana,
Yeah.
and I'd come out and I'd spend like $1,200.
Yeah.
Jeez,
It's-
really?
it-
That
oh, yeah.
much?
Well,
Yeah.
that was a combo.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
But even in Colorado now, I just looked recently, a non-resident bull tag is like 900.
Yeah.
Eight
Jeez,
or
oh,
900.
Pete.
Yeah. There used to be in Colorado or in Montana where he lived, it was kind of a loophole. So they had a come home to hunt program.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, meant for like kids that grew up in Montana, went away to work or go to
Right.
school, and then they came back. They could come back and hunt with their family for a lower price. Well, one of his buddy's dads was using it, like,
Yeah.
because if you have a relative that's a resident
Yep.
and you have a hunter safety or
Mm-hmm.
equivalent, you can pay this super reduced price.
Yeah.
And so I called their wildlife services and I'm like, hey man, is this legit? Because it seems kind of sketchy. And they're like, yeah, it's a loophole, but it's legit. So for a couple of years, I was able to do that.
Nice.
And then they closed the loophole.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Before we go on, I got to tell you, Zach Snyder was on last week.
Yeah.
He texted me yesterday, whatever it was. Fourth law of physics: don't let other people sit in your stand.
Oh, yep.
He has been hunting this stand pretty regularly, at least the last few days. And he had a buddy come out for one set and was like, hey, go sit in the stand. And gave him a stand. Dude shot a giant buck.
Oh, my gosh.
Like a giant. We can put a picture up. I'll see if we can put a picture up. But it's a dandy. And it's happened to me probably a half a dozen times where my dad would give my stand to one of his friends and then they'd go shoot a nice 8-point or something. So don't let people sit in your stands. Put a guest stand up, like a guest bedroom.
That just happened this weekend.
It's the gar hole.
Yeah.
Got to give him the gar hole. So, hey, Alan, so let's jump back a little bit. And if you can help our listeners understand just kind of, an intro of yourself. And I know we mentioned Stevens Advertising and TU and all that great stuff as a writer for Michigan Outdoors Magazine. But maybe just dive in a little deeper where you're from. Just, your favorite pursuits. And, you're going out to Montana. So, obviously, avid hunter and angler. So, why don't you just fill the listeners in on just kind of who you are and what you do?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Michigan guy. My wife and I have known each other since 4th grade.
Okay.
So, and we've been in the West Michigan area the entire time. Really got into hunting and fishing with my dad. Pretty common story. My grandpas didn't really hunt. They fished, so we did a little bit of that. My dad didn't really hunt a lot either, so
Yeah.
we kind of figured things out together a little bit. But, love all things outdoors. Not good at very many of them. I just less bad at some of them. But yeah, so probably for me, it's, I love whitetail hunting. I mean, it's hard to top for me.
Yeah.
But I do like hunting out west where you get to be, at least you're a little bit more active. I can
Yeah.
drive myself crazy in a tree stand for 8 hours, so that gets
Yeah.
a little bit long. But out west, you're at least moving, you're glassing, you're looking at a lot of country, you're, doing the spot and stock. Do a little bit of upland hunting with my buddies. I'm really horrible at it, but I like to go because it's active.
Yep.
You
Right.
get to watch the dogs. You're moving. You're not sitting and going crazy. And I love to fish. I like all kinds of fishing, but I particularly like fly fishing. And I've tried turkey hunting. I also suck at that. So, but I like all of it. I'll try any of it. I'm just not that great at any of it.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about Stevens and company you run there, and then we'll dive into a little bit the writing stuff.
Yeah, sounds good. No, so Stevens Advertising is the oldest advertising agency in West Michigan, actually. So it was established in 1917 by Joe and Henry Stevens. So it's, there are no Stevens there anymore.
Yeah.
But it just kind of kept the name, and it's changed hands 4 or 5 times since then. So I started there in 98. Yeah, like when you guys were talking about when you did your hunter safety classes, I was like doing the math. Like, God damn, I am really old, man. Like, I am really old.
Only 16-year difference.
But I started there in 98, got bought into the company in 99, and then bought it out in 05. So we're a full-service advertising agency. We do a decent amount of work in the outdoor space. We have some clients in the firearm space too, and those are areas of passion of mine. So I like to, it makes it more fun to do that kind of work. But yeah, we do a lot of different, we're working a lot of different industries, but travel and tourism and then the outdoor space are obviously sweet spots for me.
Very cool. And you're a very, very regular writer for our magazine, Michigan Outdoors Magazine.
Yeah.
So how did you get roped into that, or how long has that been going on now? Because most of us you're inside 3 years now, 3.5
I'm
years.
almost
so
3 years. Yeah,
we're kind of newer here to MUCC overall, but I mean, you've been writing for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, really probably not that much longer than you guys have been here.
Okay.
So Nick approached me about trying to put together a series that featured Michigan businesses that were in the sporting industry, in the hunting and fishing, trapping industry. And I thought it was a really cool concept. So we kind of brainstormed on what that might look like, kind of came up with the idea of Meet Your Maker and this idea of just highlighting. I mean, there's so many cool businesses, cool stories, cool people in the space in the state. So it's been kind of this treasure hunt in a way where you get to go out and I mean, a lot of the folks I know, but then finding new people to kind of go and talk to and tell their story and how they relate to Michigan. Like I had no idea. Probably until 2 or 3 years ago that Daredevil was made in Michigan.
Yeah,
I had
fishing
no
lures.
idea.
Yeah.
The most iconic, probably one of the most iconic, top 5 anyway, right?
I think it was the first fishing lure. When I got my first tackle box as a kid, my Papa went through his tackle box and would take things out. And the first 3 things he put in were a Daredevil.
Of course, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I had no idea that was a Michigan thing. So it's really cool to be able to tell those stories. So that's the majority of what I do, writing for the magazine, and then every now and then just kind of a more storytelling piece.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite one that you've done so far, besides Daredevil?
The Daredevil one is just really cool. Like, have you ever been? Do you know anything about the company? Or?
No.
Just what you wrote. I have read your
like if you get a chance. So I was introduced to the company by a guy named John Cleveland, who I met at the the Michigan Outdoor Writers Association, and so he took me on a tour of the place so I could write the story. And I mean it is literally like going into a time machine and going back in time.
Oh, really?
It is. It's so cool. There's so much history there. The machines that they use are just. I mean, they are old.
Where's that at? Where are they located?
I mean, it's like in the Detroit area.
Okay, so it's Southeast Michigan.
Yeah, Southeast Michigan, and the history was like the guy actually had a huge Eppinger had a huge sporting goods store. I mean, like a 5-story sporting goods store in Detroit. I mean, it's got a ton of crazy history, but that one was really cool. And then a couple of the other ones they're all fun for different reasons. So some of them I got to tell stories or tell the story of people that I knew, like my friends from Latitude or my friends from Scientific Anglers. And then some I got to talk to people that I'd never met before. So like Jay Dowd, Upland Lowlife.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. That was
what
a great
cool
article.
Dude, man.
Yeah.
He's so cool. I had never met him before. So, we kind of met by writing this article.
Yep.
And it was...
Did you get to hunt with him?
I haven't yet, man.
Okay,
He's tough to hunt with. We were supposed to get out this fall, and he's got a packed schedule. He lives out of a wall tent for 2 months.
Really?
Wow.
He moves up into the Pigeon River area and lives out of his wall tent for 2 months.
How does his wife feel about that?
I think it was talked about ahead of time, but it wasn't an ultimatum. But it was a clear understanding. Yeah, his wife must be really cool because that's what he does. Like he guides. That entire time.
That's cool.
I think if I promised to leave for 2 months, my wife would buy me the wall tent.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's probably sometimes my wife would be happy.
Yeah. So,
especially after our renovation.
Yeah, that's been really cool. Telling the story of my buddy Mark Kenyon was really fun too. He's just a really, a great guy and a great resource for Michigan. And then the one that's going to be coming out in this issue is a guy named Ron Barch, who was a mentor of a good friend of mine in rod building. So that's for bamboo rod building. Super cool. And
Very
then
cool.
I just hunted with Brent Pike.
Pike Gear.
Pike Gear.
Those are good guys.
Yeah, so he's going to be in the spring issue.
Okay.
So working on writing that story right now, but had a chance to hunt with him. That was really fun.
Okay.
Good dude. Yep. So I mean, they're all really cool in different ways, and I'll usually try to go and either hunt or fish or do something with the people that I'm interviewing just to get a feel for who they are as people.
Yep.
And try to tell that part of the story. So that never sucks.
That's cool. Any cool things that you've discovered that like you added to your equipment, or things that companies you started working at now or like shopping with that you didn't really like?
New
Pike Gear's a newer one, kind of,
New
right?
cane fishing pole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
New
but
bamboo rod.
I have
you
a
got
bamboo rod. I have one that my buddy that got mentored by Ron built for me, and I like that's a different. It's
So
different.
it's a single piece. Is
no,
it a? S-
no, it's a 3-piece.
Okay.
But it is really slow,
Yeah.
and I'm 50, so I'm getting slower, but I'm not that slow yet. Like you have to really
Okay.
really slow down everything that you do, and I guess that's maybe the point of fly fishing to some extent. But I'm usually fly fishing at like an 11.
Okay.
I'm pretty worked up.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a learning curve. But yeah, I mean, tested out a bunch of the Pike gear, which they do. They make phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
Man. And it's funny. So I have a lot of buddies that are into upland hunting, and they do kind of like that old wax cotton and that whole thing. I think it's just part of maybe the tradition.
Yep.
But Brent's whole thing is like, why are we using such outdated materials and ideas?
Yeah.
Other than nostalgia, like it kind of sucks for, they don't breathe.
Yeah.
They're heavy, they're hot. Why are we doing that when we have all this new material that we can use that people use for hiking and different stuff? Like I noticed, like the pants you're wearing, like modern materials. Why are we doing this something else? So that was great. My boys both use saddles from Latitude.
Yep.
I haven't done the saddle.
I haven't done it yet.
I think they love it, and I think once you figure it out, it's really cool.
There's a lot of tweaking, I feel
There's
like.
a lot of
Where's my this?
Yeah.
Where's my that? How do I hang this?
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's a lot.
What I want to know is, how does it do on your back? Because
See, I think once you get it dialed, it's actually better.
Yeah.
so I have arthritis L4, L5, and I used to do hanging hunts a lot on public land,
Yep.
and just the hanging the sticks and carrying
Yep.
up just started killing me, especially getting the stand up and on.
Yeah.
And I really have largely stopped doing it. Like if I can't leave the stand for a few days, I don't even bother anymore because it hurts so damn bad.
Clay Newcomb was just talking about his saddle, and he said he can do all day sits really comfortably.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, they
Okay.
make lumbar supports, and they have all kinds of add-ons
Yeah.
you can do. And Latitude was in the fall magazine that we just had, or
Yeah.
And so Alex got back to me actually too.
Okay,
So
did he?
I
Are
mean,
you
he's
gonna-
busy right now. He's
Yeah,
totally. I don't even know where he is though.
I don't know where he is either.
But he said we'll connect and we'll hopefully get him on the podcast when he's back in town after hunting season's died down.
Yeah, you guys will have a riot. He is a blast. Have you guys watched any of their YouTube music videos?
The Grit.
The Grit. Have you watched it?
Yeah,
It's
sweet.
good. It's fun. It's real. You see the good, the bad, and the ugly. But that's Alex, man. He's kind of kooky. He's really obsessive. He's a little like Mark Kenyon, spreadsheety, but but probably more gut feeling. And he gets after it.
Yeah.
Those
Wait.
guys get after it.
Mark's real spreadsheety.
Oh yeah.
So that's
He's a data nerd.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
a
my
little
gosh,
shocking.
yeah.
So the first time I met him was at his book signing in Grand Rapids
Yeah.
a number of years ago.
Yeah.
He was like super personable, talking to everybody,
Oh, yeah,
taking the
no.
pictures,
Yeah,
and
he
then
is.
and then here he's a kind of a data nerd,
Oh no, he's a total data. Like, I was actually texting with him a little bit over the weekend. He has a family place that they hunt up north.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our president of our board of directors, they're neighbors.
Okay.
So him and Mark's property are like right on each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he doesn't hunt up there a lot, but it's a family place, and he was actually up there this weekend, so I was kind of asking him how it was going and stuff. But yeah, no, he's got like spreadsheets and Venn diagrams. I mean, he is nuts.
Did you ever go to the back 40?
I haven't.
No?
No, I haven't. I've never even hunted with Mark.
Oh, no?
We've fished and we've hiked and we've backpacked and stuff together, but no, I think he might be too much for me to hunt with.
He
he's
tracks
pretty
the
serious.
weather, the wind,
Everything.
it's all in spreadsheets. I think he made a video one time about how he does it, and just they had like an over your shoulder shot in the video of him on his laptop, and I couldn't even begin to comprehend the spreadsheets and the things he was doing.
I know, and I tease him about it, but like,
If it works.
no.
Well, yeah, I mean,
does-
it works.
It works.
Yeah.
He kills a lot of big deer.
Yeah, but he's and so he's probably within the last 4 or 5 years gotten into fly fishing. He and his wife and
They spend the summer out west,
in
don't they?
Idaho.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, he got into fly fishing, and he's, if he's like a 15 with whitetail hunting, he's probably like a solid 12 with fly fishing.
So
like
it's just into it, too?
he's just
Yeah.
once he gets his teeth on something, man, he goes nuts. But,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know how we got talking about Mark. Of course,
Just the people that you get to talk to and the people you know through writing. So you mentioned the Outdoor Writers Association. What other like publications do you write for, or what other kind of I know you have your website I was looking at earlier.
Yeah.
That's awesome. A lot of cool stories on there.
Thank you.
But what other publications do you write for with your journalism?
Yeah, so I mean, I should probably back up and just say writing is a hobby for me. You know, I don't have to make my living that way. If I did, I would be in big trouble.
No Montana trips.
There would be no Montana trips, man, for sure. We'd be trying to put as many deer in the freezer as we could because we'd be living off them. But yeah, so I've always liked writing, but never. It wasn't really something that I had been trained in or had any schooling for. But I always liked writing and reading. And so probably 4 or 5 years ago, I just started trying to write. And then I built the website because I'm like, well, I can put it out there, and if no one gives a shit, then no one gives a shit.
Just sits here, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt
Right.
anything, and it at least gets it off. You know, it's kind of a way to scratch the itch for me. So started doing that, and then
Do you want to plug the website right now? I haven't heard anyone say it yet.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, the website's allenoutside.com. So, you know, it kind of started out as just a creative outlet for me, and then some of my friends kind of contribute to it and stuff. So we have stories on there, we have tips, we have
You guys have gear reviews.
some destination stuff on there.
Yeah. The authors, artists, and makers thing is pretty cool.
Yeah,
And it's a whole different, like it's a variety of different people you're highlighting and things that you're looking at and diving into.
And that was actually, I think, kind of the genesis for the Meet Your Maker thing that we're doing with Michigan Outdoors Magazine. I think Nick had seen that on my website, and it's not necessarily artists and stuff, but it's still people that are in Michigan. But yeah, that one's super fun. You get to talk to really cool people. Same thing. And then I just started working with a few different magazines. Some of them, you know, more regularly than others. So like Gray Sporting Journal, Strong Sporting Journal.
I was just
Fusion.
introduced to Gray.
Oh my gosh!
One of our assistant, like who's our copy guy, Greg
Fry.
Greg Fry. So he was talking about Gray because we've got, as you know, we have a new editor for the magazine. Tony Hansen came back on to help us out, and then we have Greg Fry doing some writing, but also some just copy editing.
Yep, he just texted me.
Yeah. So Greg's a good guy, and he introduced me to Gray Journal. And it's amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
Like, some of the artwork that's in there
The
too.
art and the writing is top notch. So for me, that was kind of one of those like, okay, not that you've arrived, but you've
you can hold your own.
It's a pretty big honor to be in something like Gray's. Like Gray's is kind of it's near the top for sure.
Yeah.
And it's a great. The writing is fantastic, and some, like you said, the artwork is just stellar.
So do you do like Field and Stream, Outdoor Life, anything the bigger, like the national
No, I mean they
stuff,
went
or?
away, but
True.
you know they were gone when I kind of started getting more serious about writing. They're back now, but you know I don't know exactly what that looks like. But yeah, I mean Field and Stream would have been.
Yeah.
That's
big one. That's big time.
a big one, yeah.
Okay. And so then AllenOutside.com is the website.
Yep.
And then, you know, for Gray's or for Michigan Outdoors Magazine, you can find all of Allen's writing there. What's the one that's coming out in December you have for us?
So there's 2 in December. So one will be Ron Barch, that'll be the Meet Your Maker series.
Which is a great article.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, it's really good.
Yeah, that's what I got a message from Greg about.
Okay.
He's like, well, I changed further to farther or farther to further because I always get it wrong every time. He's like, I left everything else the same. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So that one's in there, and then there's another just kind of more storytelling piece called Breaking Sticks.
Yeah. That's in your book too.
Yep.
About the sticks. That was a cool thing. I enjoyed reading that.
Yeah, so that was in the book, and that will be in the winter issue.
Very cool. And then so make sure to become a member of MUCC so you can get your magazine on December 1st and get to read all Allen's great writing. So there's our membership plug for the episode. So make sure to sign up and join as a one-year member.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great plug, and I did. Not that it's going to just drive membership through the roof, but I brought a copy of each book that
awesome.
you guys can maybe use as a giveaway for membership or however you guys want to use it.
Yeah, awesome.
Or listening to this. I don't know, whatever you want to do.
After we're done reading it.
After you're done reading it.
Yeah,
of course.
I have my copy already. I'm 99% of the way through it. So
It's a quick read.
It's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it was great. It was a good book. And so, I mean, we can dive into those too. I know we said earlier, this is your second book, right now?
It is, yep.
And so what was the first one, Outside in Shorts? Tell us a little bit about that and what that one's included in.
Yeah, I mean, so it's same format for the first two books. So Outside in Shorts was my attempt at humor. Most of the stuff that I do for humor only entertains me, and that's I'm okay with that. But so Outside in Shorts is supposed to be short stories based on the outdoors. So it was 29 stories, very similar to the second book, but hunting, fishing, spending time with your buddies or with your family, or I mean, most of the stories end up coming back to either like who you're with or where you are.
Yeah, I sense that theme, and outside there's the next one you have. Everything has a season.
Yeah, I mean, so they're both really similar. I would say the second one just has a little bit, based on some feedback from Mark Kenyon, actually, the stories are a little bit longer in the second one.
Yeah,
I think the first one's is the short stories are quite short. And he wanted a little, he's like, man, you get me right to this part where I'm excited, and then the story kind of ends. So, like, kind of maybe make them a little bit more involved. So I tried to take that feedback and use that a little bit more on the second book. But real similar, just different set of stories.
Yeah.
With my dad and my kids and my buddies and some different places, and my wife, different places that we've traveled and done.
Yeah.
Done stuff.
So to have all these stories, how many days you've got Stevens, right? So you're running a business, but how many days a year are you in the field being able to, I mean, obviously it's a lifetime of stories, but even nowadays, how often are you out there, in the field tromping around making these memories?
Man, not as much as I'd like, but everyone would say that, right? So, it as often as possible. The deal I make in the fall with my wife is it's kind of an every other weekend thing, and then it's a little bit longer during Michigan gun season, and then usually a week away. Mm-hmm. And then during trout season, it's quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, do you have quick access to all those, like to trout streams and like that, or how far are you driving from Grand Rapids?
Yeah. So my wife's family has a place in Baldwin, so we're right on the PM, which is kind of how we're tied in with the Pere Marquette Trout Unlimited.
Yeah.
So we don't live there, but we have that's where I actually learned to fly fish because my oldest son wanted to learn.
Yeah, I read that on the website. The story.
So I'm like a late, I didn't learn from my dad or my grandpa. I mean, I was almost 40 by the time I learned to fly fish, and I did it just because my kid wanted to go. And we didn't even know what the Pere Marquette. We've been going to that place forever. We didn't know what the Pere Marquette was until we started fly fishing, and they were like, "Holy cow! This is
well known,
right?
Yeah, well known, an incredible fishery." Yeah. So we have access to that real easy, and I have buddies that have places on the Manistee River that we fish a lot, and all of it's it's a pretty short drive.
Yeah.
I don't get, the Ausable is, the probably the most famous river in Michigan, but I have to drive past a lot of good water to get to that.
Yeah, yeah.
From where I am. Mm-hmm. So mostly west side of the state stuff.
And do you do out-of-state fishing trips too?
Yeah.
It's like hunting, you go chase trout out west?
Yeah, so a lot, especially, so it was kind of a blessing and a curse having my son go to school in Montana.
Yeah.
Gave me a good reason to get out there real regularly. But, you don't see him as much, but when you do see him, it usually involves hunting or fishing.
Yeah, yeah.
I like this idea.
I've
decided my daughter's going to college in Montana.
Honestly, it's a really good school. So he went to Montana State University in Bozeman, and so literally surrounded by probably the best fly fishing I would argue, in the country.
Okay.
So we did a lot of fly fishing out there. I've done a lot in Colorado, Idaho, California, Wyoming, Alaska. So yeah, quite a bit. Michigan's pretty sweet too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you can really do everything here. Yeah. There's so much to chase and do. It's not the mountains. You don't get the views sometimes, but it's a pretty special place we have here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So diving back into the books, so Outside in Shorts, when did that come out?
I think that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah, and so you ask, like, how do you find time to be out in the field, or even how do you find time to write the stories? I mean, like you said, it was kind of 50 years of collecting the stories, and some of them were, like I said, I started writing and putting the stuff on my website just to kind of get it out of my system.
Yep. So did you kind of pull all that down and put it into the book, or did you sit down and like really rewrite the book itself as a whole new venture?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I had a buddy that kind of helped me organize it. They're organized by season.
Yep.
Is kind of how both books are organized. And I had a buddy that kind of helped me whittle things down and then organize it into a format that made sense. And some of it needed reworking to make sense in book form.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of it was written for the website, and now I'm running out of stories, so I got to go do more adventures.
Go find more things to write about. How long does that process take you? Like when you jumped into the book, and like how long did it take you to write that first one, and then how long did for everything there is a season? Did your second one come quicker, or how does that process unfold for you?
Yeah, I mean the second one was definitely quicker, and I think you just have to. I think it's kind of like everything that you just have to make a habit of doing something to be productive. So I try to make a habit of writing for a period of time every day.
Yep.
I try to make a habit of reading for a period of time every day, and I try to make a habit of exercising for a period of time every day.
That's one of the opening stories in For Everything There's a Season.
Yeah.
Because it dives into the breaking sticks.
The breaking sticks.
So you want to dive into that and give a teaser about what that's all about?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even want to remember the 2020 season, right? But it kind of started in 2020. My gym closed.
Yep.
And I was like, well, that sucks. Kind of. I didn't necessarily mind it, but my wife minded it. So, I had to just try to kind of figure out what I was going to do to replace that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it kind of ended up getting popular at the time, but I didn't even realize it. So I just threw on my hiking backpack and chucked a bunch of weight in it and went to there's some hills not far from our house that run along the Grand River, and I just started doing miles there with the pack on because I didn't have any other outlet really. I mean, we have free weights and stuff at home, but for cardio we didn't have anything. So that's what I did, and kind of that's what the story's about. So there's a loop that I would walk.
Yeah.
It's a half-mile kind of loop that goes up and down the hills. And I would lose track of how many loops I had done. My goal was always to do 4 miles, and I would lose track. Am I on 6 or 7?
In the book, that part made me laugh because, I can, vividly remember anytime I run a track.
Yeah.
If you're like, shit, what number am I on? Am I on 4? Am I on 5? Am I on whatever it was? And so when I was reading the book, I actually laughed out loud because I can picture myself in that moment where you're like, damn it, what one is it?
And that's what it was.
If you miss a whole loop, you're you feel shorted or you're going too far. It's just you want to make sure you're hitting your loop.
Justin has that problem all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
You lose track, right?
I'm a big runner.
Yeah. Once he's at 20, 30 laps.
I mean, laps to the fridge.
Yeah, was it 20 or is it...
My kid can open the fridge door now. I don't got to go to the fridge.
No, but that's what it was, man. It was just to keep track, and I didn't. I think I would always find myself no, that was definitely the last one. Cheat a little bit,
giving yourself the excuse,
giving you the extra. So I just took a stick and I'll just break it in half every time I finish a loop. So by the time I have 8 in my hand, I know I'm done.
Yep.
So that's kind of what it was. But throughout the story, I was just kind of reliving some moments of misery on some other outings and some other hikes and stuff.
Well, and I know you were putting them on social media. You would post a handful of pieces.
And people are like, what the hell are the sticks?
That was me too. Until I read the book, and then so that clicked for me too, because I would always see your posts come up with just your hand of sticks in
and
your
everyone's
hand.
like, what the hell?
I'm like, I guess I don't get it. And then when I was reading the book, I was like, oh, light bulb.
Yeah.
So that came on for me. So
and that's one of those things that I would put on social because it was funny to me, only for me. And some people would get it, but most people wouldn't. And I didn't care. I just thought it was funny.
It's like Jocko Willink, who does his stopwatch every morning. He gets up at 4. He's a Navy SEAL.
Yep.
Up at 4:30 every morning.
He
when
shows
he does
you the 4:53.
It's just a stopwatch, and everyone knows he's going to work out.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't think I'm quite there yet with everyone knowing what it is, but we're getting there.
Yeah. So you still doing it then?
Not as much this year as I want to. When it is really bad is when it's super hot and humid.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't mind the physical work, but I would come home and I was soaked. I jumped in my swimming pool soaked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Well, and you talk about a little bit enjoying the suffering of that.
Yeah,
too.
there's something kind of meditative about it.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of puts you in a different headspace, and you kind of think about things maybe you weren't thinking about before.
Well, embracing the suck.
Embracing the suck. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Well,
Exactly.
and that comes up in the book a few times about the lesson of you were talking about a trip that you guys had gone on, and it was the worst weather. The flies were there.
Oh.
You guys were getting destroyed by everything, and then it was we vowed to never come back here again. And then 4 years later, you're like, hey, you want to go back there?
Yeah.
And you change the time of the year a little bit to beat the bugs.
Yep.
But then, like, that message of, even though it was hell on earth when we were there, the people we were with, the places we went, the memories we have, like, it doesn't seem so impossible to do again. And you guys go back and you have a great time, and it's like you have that new memory on top of the old.
I mean, time definitely shades our memories, right?
Yeah.
But I think that story was a trip that my dad and my younger son always would do to Canada.
Yeah.
And it's always an epic trip, and we hammer giant pike, and
Yeah.
we camp out on this island that you can't really get to, and it's super cool. And we'd always had really good success. And then one year we went and it rained, and we had the three of us in a quote unquote 3-man tent, hating each other, hating life. If you got outside of the tent, you would just get eaten alive by mosquitoes and bugs. We didn't catch shit for fish. And we just like, no, we're done. We're never doing this again. And then, time kind of heals all wounds, I suppose.
Yep,
and then you remember, you remember some of the fun stuff. And there's a book, and I do reference it a little bit in one of my stories in the book, but there's a book by a guy named Michael Easter. If you haven't read it, it's called Comfort Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
I would highly recommend anybody to read it. It's basically the idea that we are killing ourselves because we're too comfortable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's no struggle.
And he goes through, like, our temperatures are too comfortable, our boredom, we're not bored enough, we're not cold enough, we're all these things. And it's kind of framed in this hunt that he does with Donnie Vincent in the Brooks Range, and they're there for like 30 days in the backcountry.
Dang.
And so that's kind of how it's framed up, but he goes through all these different ways that we're too comfortable, we're too clean, we don't suffer enough, and how that's actually unhealthy.
Yeah.
So,
Well, your body needs that adversity, right?
Right.
You need to be able to kind of overcome stuff, and it makes you stronger down the road too.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not even just the physical; it's the mental stuff.
It's a lot of mental.
Yeah.
We've talked about it in the office. I don't think we were talking about it on air. It's just how ridiculously removed from your food that people are.
Oh,
it's
completely.
insane. People just they just don't see where it comes. They don't think about it. They just have this cognitive dissonance. My sister's kind of a good example. Like, if she didn't grow up around hunting, she'd probably be an animal rights activist, because she just puts on her blockers when she eats venison that I give her because she wants it so bad. But she's just so ridiculously removed from the food chain. It's unhealthy.
No, I mean, I think we're removed from a lot of how life used to be, in a not healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You got to go out there and harvest, right?
Yeah.
Get your food back,
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. 3 Deer.
I think I've shot more deer in days you've been in the woods this year.
Maybe. Well, until the renovation's done. I talked about it last episode, so we don't have to get into it again.
Doing the same tile floor since June.
No, this is tile walls now. Thank you very much. So,
Haven't got out as much as you wanted to.
not at all. No, and it's the
No.
running joke about every time we talk about what season we're in. I haven't been in a season yet, basically.
You're in tile season.
I'm in tile season. I'm in home renovation
Year-long season.
Yeah, it was supposed to be done October 1st, and here we are on,
Ooh.
November 4th.
We got a big date coming up.
That's what I told. Well, yeah, and we're going to Mexico for like a couple's trip, and I was like, why would you ever plan a vacation in November? Like,
Because you didn't have the talk with her
I know.
before you got married.
It's also kind of, what part of Mexico?
La Paz, so it's like down near Cabo.
Okay.
So it's on like the peninsula down. It's about an hour and a half north of like Cabo.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be all right. Because it's also hurricane season.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're on the west side.
You'll be
Yeah,
all
we're
right
on the
where you
Pacific
are.
side. Yeah, we're on the Pacific side. So gonna do some fishing, gonna do some whale watching, and
Right on.
gonna do some tequila drinking.
Right on.
Nice.
Gross.
Yeah.
Lost me at tequila. Well, you lost me at leaving America.
Well,
I left America one time.
Oh, we're
I was
leaving.
like, it's
like,
enough for
by
me.
the time this airs, hopefully I'll be back already.
Things
Not-
I don't
not
need to do
stuck
again.
in Mexico.
Leave America or run without something chasing me.
That's very evident.
You're so cultured.
Yeah, I am. Like I said, I've left America once. Went shot a nice buck,
Yeah.
shot and came home, and it was good enough. Bought all the albuterol at the Mexican pharmacy that they had, and came home.
Another day, another story.
Yeah.
So, Alan, what? Back to the books. What do you have a favorite story that sticks out to you? That they're all memories, so it
Yeah.
could be a favorite memory, but a favorite story. I liked. I definitely liked the one where you guys were, you were floating on the float trip, and it was 2 boats, and you were just hammering. Like, you guys just kept hammering fish all day long, and you caught up to the front boat, and they were not really having their best day, and you guys were just slaying all day long. And so it's cool to read it, and you really take you there with it, because you're talking about, the cigarettes you smoke and the smell of the coffee and the bubbling of the percolator. And so the stories are all super great. Is there one that you have that's a favorite of yours?
Yeah, it's hard. So, I guess one of the things that a compliment that I've received on the writing is that it's honest. So I don't try to make myself out to be some fantastic outdoorsman. You get the good with the bad. You get the fish that I missed and the deer that I missed and the the backpacking trip that I screwed up, and you get all of that. So I think that there's some of that. There's some that's intentionally got a lot of hyperbole, like way over the top, just to kind of express like how it felt to me. Like, so it's intentionally exaggerated, but it's kind of done with a wink and a nod. Like, I'm not exaggerating in a way that you don't know I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
Favorite stories are so hard because a lot of them are really personal to me because of the people involved, right?
Yeah.
So out of the first book, there were two. One's about my buddy Matt that taught me how to fly fish, actually taught my son how to fly fish, and then taught me. And then he passed away.
I read that on the website too.
Yeah,
that was an awesome story.
That one's tough. But I like it just because it's so personal. And then I also had one in my first book about when my dog died, my GSP died, or we had to put her down. Those two are like, really close and personal. So in that way, I like them. From the second book, a lot of the stories that involve my dad are probably the ones that are closest to me. So
I like the letter to him.
Yeah, that was tough.
It's right in the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
It's like one of those first stories. And that letter, and that, for any of us that hunted with our dads, like for me, it was like, okay, like that relates so well, just because I like how at the end of it, you signed off like, all right, well, now I've embarrassed myself and time to go.
Yeah, it's kind of, like, I don't know, like guys in general, but like especially my dad and maybe our family, we're not real super expressive.
Yep.
So like to say the things I wrote in there, I could never do it.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of write it to him.
Yep.
And then it was embarrassing for both of us. But like I felt like I had to kind of like say some of that stuff to him. So anything that involves my dad is really close. There's a story it actually ran in Michigan in Michigan Outdoors magazine too that was called "The Table That Dad Built," which I think is one of my favorites. There's one that just recently ran that's called 80 Octobers that ran in Strung magazine.
I read that too. That was awesome.
That's probably that one probably ticks a lot of the boxes for me.
Yeah.
I think the writing is pretty tight, tighter than some of maybe some of the other stuff. It's got a lot tied in with my dad and my family and my kids.
Well, you opened that story with jumping out of the bunk bed, right?
Yeah.
Like jumping down, and like you can, like you're. I can picture myself there, like in the musty little camper.
Yeah.
That I jump out because it's time to go with Dad.
Yeah.
Right. That moment in memory is something that I think a lot of us men, especially if we hunted with our fathers, can relate to. So that story, if anyone hasn't read it, it's on the website and on outside.
Yep.
Really, really awesome piece of writing there.
That was that piece meant a lot. I would say like if I had to boil it down to a favorite, that's probably. Right
Did
there.
you use the word October 80 times in that article as well?
No, no, that's a good idea.
I say kind of slip that in there, right? Say,
yeah. No, I didn't do that, but it was actually it was in October.
Yep.
And I was doing shit around my house. I was doing the tile basically. My version of the tile. I was cleaning out the gutters and I was raking the leaves and I was doing all this shit. And I was mad. Like I was just mad. I was mad. I wasn't mad at my wife because I knew all this stuff had to be done, but I was mad that I wasn't, like, October is so short and all the greatest.
It's the rut right now. Do you know that? And we're here.
Yeah, right.
I'm mad.
It's one of the, you're mad, right? Like, so I was mad. It's the best brown trout fishing of the year. It's great upland hunting. It's good deer hunting. And I'm raking the damn leaves and cleaning out the gutters, and I was just mad.
Yeah.
And so I started thinking about, like, okay, October's, only so long, and you only get so many of them, and I'm spending that little bit that I get in my entire life, I'm spending it doing this stuff, and I was like, that was like
way better things to do.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of an awakening, like, holy cow, like, yeah, time is really finite, and especially when you get on my side of the hill, it's even more and more finite, and you don't want to waste them.
Yeah.
And that's really what the story was about.
No, it was a great piece. And then just other stuff that you've been able to work on. I know you've been putting a lot of press out there on social media with how far the book has reached and where it's gone in the world. Tell us a little bit about, I mean, that's really kind of cool to follow and to see where it's shipping to and people sending you photos when they get it and just the reach it's had.
Yeah, it's always fun to, you know, like your friends and family feel like they have to buy it, right? So you get like the sympathy buys, and then you kind of know where those are, and then you start getting this stuff that's really weird. Like I got an email from someone that had my book in Iceland. They were not from Iceland, but they had brought my book to Iceland.
Okay.
They sent me a picture of the book in Iceland. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Or,
Yeah.
you know, people that just send you random notes, you know, track you down on social or send you something in the mail or somehow find you and let you know that they got the book. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
To know that you can have someone that you're completely disconnected from that somehow cared about what you wrote down on a page.
Yeah. Well, it relates to it and connects to it, right?
Right.
That they're getting that value out of it too.
Yeah, it's just cool because a lot of the writing, quite honestly, I do really for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so if someone else also enjoys it, that's just a benefit.
I feel like that, for me anyways, that's important. Like, I have to write for the magazine as part of my job.
Yeah.
And I hate writing boring, stuffy stuff. And I just write things that are fun for me to write. Like, I try and sneak South Park quotes in every article that I write. And yeah, you just make it yourself, and it's going to be a lot more fun. I think it's going to resonate because it's very... People can sense the inauthenticity if you try and force something.
I completely agree.
And, yeah.
Do you ship all those out? Like, do you have a publisher or somebody who's like handling all the orders? And like, I mean, you're not packing envelopes at home, are you?
Well, so it's actually self-published. It's done through Amazon's publishing, which is KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
So they print it, they distribute it. If it goes to another bookstore, the bookstore will order it through them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but anyone that orders it from me, I'm like I'm signing the book.
You're the UPS center.
I'm all of it, yeah. And then if you get it through a different outlet like Midcurrent or something like that, they will they handle all the shipping and stuff.
Bless you. Okay.
So like anyone that's ordered a book from me I've touched it, I've lived with it. It's I've checked it because sometimes actually the ones I brought you guys are the special edition shiny covers.
Oh, okay.
Which means that Amazon sent me some that weren't right. But for you, it means collector's edition, very rare.
Love it.
Okay.
Okay.
And you did the first book that same way too? Just all the same process?
Yeah, there's some kind of, there's something from a writer's standpoint of having your book picked up by a publisher that, kind of gives you some validation that, hey, my writing doesn't suck or someone values this. But I talked to a lot of my friends that had published books, and they kind of walked me through the pros and cons of both.
Yeah.
And there are pros and cons to both for sure. And so I decided to kind of go that route. I don't know. I think there's pros to working with a publisher. You take all of that. They take care of all the legwork. They take care of all the promotion. They take care of all the stuff. But there's just, you don't have complete control.
Yep.
And when you self-publish, you have kind of a lot more control, but everything's on you.
Yeah, definitely. Are you going to do an audio version at all?
No, you know what?
Not gonna...
I thought about doing an audio version. I might do an audio version. I don't think I'm going to do like an ebook because I just, as it relates kind of even to like the magazine that you guys put out, I don't want print to die. Like I want magazines to still be around. I want books to still be around. Audio version might be interesting, but I do get a little, I'm maybe a little bit funny about it, but like when someone's like, oh, I just read a great book, I'm like, oh, what did you read? And they're like, well, I listened to.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, I don't mind. Like, hey, that's cool that if you listen to books, you got a lot of windshield time or you're traveling and that's how you like to consume it, but don't call it reading because it's different.
It's not,
and it really bothers me.
Well, and I've found too, like if I'm listening to an audio book, like sometimes it'll just like drone.
You can check out.
Yeah, you can, but when I was like, even when I was reading your book, like I would go back and reread the page just to like, because I get to the end of a story or when the season rolled over and I was like, I just want to like absorb that. I would reread certain sections and go back and read a page back, and just because it sticks with you better, right?
I think so.
The memory's there, the message is communicated better, the lessons are learned deeper, all the cool stuff that you get from reading. I think that in my mind too, I'm like, oh, so you listen to someone talk at you. You didn't read a book.
Yeah, and again, that there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, we'll go back to pick on Mark Kenyon a little bit, because I'm like, how the hell, dude, do you read like 8 books a month? Because I read a lot, and I can knock out about 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, some of them I also listen to. I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch.
He's cheating a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, he goes and buys everyone.
Yeah.
And so.
And fills his bookshelf with books he listens to.
And he reads like everything else. He's a maniac about everything he does. But and he reads a ton. But yeah, he listens to some of them too.
Yeah, we got to work with him on his inaugural Working for Wildlife tour.
Yeah.
So not 24, but summer of 23, he was up with us near Kalkaska.
Opening day of turkey season.
Yeah, so we planned a habitat event the opening day of turkey season, but he was awesome. It was one of our biggest events in crowds ever, right? And then we had like a cool social hour afterwards at the Bear Creek. Was it Bear Lake? What's right there in 72?
I was turkey hunting.
It's Bear Lake Inn or
I know.
right when you come out of Kalkaska going westbound on 72.
Yeah.
Deer Lake.
Well, Dingman's is
Yeah.
what we call it now, but
Yep.
So it's right down the road from Dingman's.
Yeah, there's a little tavern there.
Yeah.
So we did a cool thing there, and a lot of people were stoked to go. We had some kids that brought books from Mark to sign and all kinds of cool stuff. So that was a fun event.
Now what I will say about Mark is obviously he's blown up and he's got a big following, and he's very popular, but he's a very genuine person, and he is authentic about his care for conservation. I mean, that's authentic. That's not something that he puts on just to make his image better. Like he genuinely cares, and especially if you watch his interaction with his 2 kids, like he wants to leave it better for them, and that's real.
Yeah. That's what we're fighting to do too,
Yeah.
Make sure that next generation has everything that we have and more.
That's right.
So, and then so where do people order the book from you? So, if they want it directly from you, where do they find that at?
Yep. If you want to order it directly from me, basically just got to shoot me an email, or you can find it you can find my email address on my website, or just email me at alan@stevensinc.com.
Okay.
And I can get that, or send me a Facebook message or Instagram message, and then I can send that out to you, or you can order it through the Midcurrent shop, which I think is just Midcurrent shop, or midcurrent./shop. Or you can order it through Amazon, and it is at a few of the local bookstores. So it's at Jay's Sporting Goods.
Okay, so they're carrying it there?
Yep, Jay's
Very
has
cool.
it. Reader's World in Holland has it. The North Branch Outing Club has it. Workman Outfitters has it. The Orva store in Grand Rapids has it. So it's available at a few retail stores too.
Very cool. So what's on the horizon for you next? We got the magazine article still pumping out, which are awesome, but another book you planning already, or are you taking a break, or are you kind of decompressing?
I got to collect some more stories.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to collect some more stories. I was talking to my buddy Ozzy on the drive in, and we're trying to kind of figure out what that next adventure is. I always have to, if I don't have something on the calendar, I get pretty angsty and not fun to be around. So I got, we have the Montana trip coming up, which is always fun. And I'm looking forward to that with the boys. And then I have just kind of a more couples trip with my wife coming up in the winter. But like, I'm already like, all right, what do we got going next? And we're talking about maybe like, are we doing bull trout in the Canadian Rockies, or what are we going to do? Like, you got to
go trap some beavers.
Trap some beavers.
Yeah, for something completely different.
I've never done the trapping thing, so it'd be another thing I could suck at.
Yeah.
We do also have a question we have to ask him.
Yeah, we ask every person. This is the last question.
Yeah. On an average year, how many squirrels do you eat?
On an average year, how many squirrels I eat? None.
None? Not a squirrel guy?
There you go.
I mean, it's just
squirrel
not,
hunting, new story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the squirrel hunting. My kids love squirrels. It's just not. I like shooting big stuff.
Yeah.
I know that sounds stupid, but it's fun. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's way harder than you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds delicious, but it's just not my jam.
Have you had squirrel before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
But like,
there's no wrong answer to that question.
Yeah,
It's
no.
just
The
something.
reason I've had squirrel is when my kids were little, they, you start them out with like the Daisy Red Ryder, and then they get up to the pellet gun and maybe the 22, whatever. But my rule was like, you kill it, you grill it.
Yeah.
Like you're not just going out trying to kill stuff. Like if you kill something, you're eating it.
Yep.
And so my son shot a squirrel, and I made him clean it, and he did it. He literally grilled it. Like we had these little, like the little, legs on the grill. Kind of eating them off the bone
Oh,
and whatever. And yeah, we ate them.
How was it?
It was different.
Yeah.
On the grill,
Yeah.
A little dry.
a little dry.
Yeah, you just cook all that juice out of it.
No, we like to ask all of our guests that question. The answers always vary pretty significantly.
Yeah. So
think
what's the background on the question?
I don't know. We just were.
You got to have a question.
Nah, we were just when we do job interviews here, we always end with "What's your favorite animal?" And it's just kind of a light way to everybody end with a smile.
Because there's no right answer, but there are some wrong answers
To the animal
to
one.
the animal one, right? So we ask people like,
What are the wrong answers?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
You can't give it away. You don't give
No,
it
we.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We don't.
Yeah,
know.
don't give it away.
Yeah.
We'll tell you. We'll tell you off.
tell
air.
me off air,
There's
all
just, but there are a few wrong answers.
Okay.
The squirrel one, I honestly don't remember the genesis of it.
We're doing a member interview, so we do it like a member spotlight.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of, we were on the topic of squirrel hunting because he has a kid. He's got some kids as well, and they were talking about squirrel hunting, and this question just kind of came up like, hey, so how many squirrels do you eat? And then we were like, oh, that's a really random ass question.
Yeah.
Why did anybody?
So let's keep that going.
So that's kind of our litmus
Well,
test.
what's y'all's answer?
Mine was
non-zero. For
Mine
me.
was non-zero too, like
Yeah.
1 to 2 usually if I can get.
Really?
it.
No squirrel crazies in here, huh?
We had our last member interview said 4 to 6.
Yeah, my squirrel hunting for me is an excuse to walk around in the woods with a gun
It
when deer
is, yeah.
season's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
So-
what are you gonna do in the winter days, right?
Right, you get a nice sunny day in the winter.
Yep.
And I'll go take my 22 or 20 gauge or whatever and just go walk through some public land looking for squirrels. And if I find one, cool. If I don't,
You went for
I
a
got
good
an
walk.
I got an extra day in the woods with a gun.
Yeah.
If I'm camping, I'll eat more squirrel. Like if
Yeah.
you're out camping and you're deer hunting and you're like, oh, let's just go do a quick squirrel hunt. Like that's my favorite time to eat squirrel. Like over a campfire.
How do you fix it?
So what I've done previously is skin it, throw it in aluminum foil right on the edge of the coals,
Okay.
and just kind of like slow cook it that
All
way.
right.
And then my favorite way to eat squirrel is pulled barbecue.
Oh,
So
yeah.
crock pot,
Yeah,
barbecue
yeah.
sauce,
Yep.
let it sit, and then it comes out. I mean, it's like a pulled chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion, the best way to do it.
Yeah. Right on.
Squirrel recipes. Tune in next time for more delicious recipes.
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, I mean, so any other way that people can get a hold of you? Like, do you have an Instagram page? I know you have your Facebook out there, but
Yep.
best way to get at you is just AlanOutside.com or on social media.
Well, AlanOutside.com is, that's the website. That's got all my contact information on it. It has links to my socials. So I'm pretty basic. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram.
Cool.
Instagram is AlanOutside. So
Yeah.
pretty easy.
Anything you want the listeners to know, or anything you want to put out there or share with people, or just even discuss any deeper?
No, I know we went long already probably, but I know we had talked about some of the stuff that we're doing with Trout Unlimited.
Oh yeah,
I think-
definitely the TU
I
stuff.
think it'd be good to jump in just and talk a little
Yeah,
bit about
sure.
what our chapter's doing. So, you had mentioned one of the, right at the beginning of this, you were talking about some legislation or something that was happening.
Beaver
with
policy and
beaver.
internal DNR beaver policy. It's hard hitting stuff.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
Go blow up some dams.
So we, I'm not as involved with what happens like on the more state level, but I can tell you from a state standpoint, one of the things that everyone is really concerned about really is the warming water temperatures. And that's a statewide issue. I mean, that's a global issue, but it boils down to the state too. So we're really taking a look at the state of Michigan. Trout Unlimited has put out their priority waters. So there's like 5 to 7 priority waters in the state. The Pere Marquette River is one of them because it is one of our best cold water fisheries, and the temperatures have been steadily increasing over time, which is going to eventually mean we have no trout water. So we've been doing a lot more in partnership with the state, but on a local level, our chapter's a little bit goofy because most of the chapters around the country are organized by zip, like where you live. So if you live in West Michigan, you're part of Shrems. But I live in West Michigan and I'm part of the TU. So ours is the only one, I believe, in the country that's organized by watershed. So you have
So
to
what you fish and not where you live.
So
Yeah.
like you have to intentionally say, no, I don't want to be the one that's part of my zip code. I want to be part of this one. So you have to kind of take an extra effort. But then what it means is our members are spread all over the damn place.
Yeah.
So they're not localized where, so it makes it harder to do kind of grassroots initiatives because we have members in Chicago, we have members in Ohio, we have members in all over Michigan. So if we want to do a river cleanup and we need to get everyone there, it's more challenging because our members are all over the place. But we've been doing a lot with habitat mapping. We hired 2 interns that were working under Dr. Jordan. I'm going to get her last name wrong. Dr. Jordan from Michigan Trout Unlimited, and they spent the entire summer habitat mapping and looking at the entire watershed so that we could prioritize what we put our money and our volunteer resources towards.
Yeah.
We put a bunch of water temperature monitors into a bunch of the feeder creeks so that we can see what's happening there and we can have kind of better data to work from. So we've been trying to collect as much data as we can about the watershed and the temperatures so we can make decisions with our time and money. But we've had 3 or 4 really big initiatives lately. We had the Cove project where we did bank stabilization. We had the railroad project that was a 10-year project it was another bank stabilization project where where the railroad trestle went through, the bank was eroding into the river, and it could have been a big spill and a big problem. We got that done. So we've been really active, and we're trying to take a real science-based approach and get as much data as we can so we can know what to do with our limited resources.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how long have you been a part of TU now?
So I've been part of TU probably, well, it was kind of one of those on and off things, like, I should probably be part of it once I started fly fishing, and then my membership lapsed, and then a guy named Jack Ford kind of gave me a little nudge to get more heavily involved with the local Trout Unlimited chapter. So that's probably been 4 or 5 years with the board.
Yeah. So and you're familiar with our OTG, our on the ground program, right?
Yep.
So we partner with like RMEF sometimes, and we've partnered with like other organizations to do those habitat projects.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that you think we could work together on with
Absolutely.
OTG and TU, we could do river cleanups and stream cleanups are some of our bigger events.
Yep.
Because lots of people, whether you're kayakers, anglers, or even just canoers, the value of those clean waters, and
Right.
so. We should explore something together.
I'd love to do that.
OTG and TU.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
It'd be a lot of fun.
The Michigan Outdoors podcast is proud to partner with Domain Outdoor. Domain hand selects the highest quality seeds and ingredients so you can be confident when you choose Domain, you're choosing legendary products, performance, and customer support. I personally use Comeback Kid in my food plot, which is a cold season perennial and annual mix. I've had great success with it, and I highly recommend it. MUCC members get an exclusive discount at domainoutdoor.com with promo code MUCC10 for 10% off their order. Again, that's MUCC10 for 10% off your order. With Domain Outdoor, turn your property into a domain. This is your land.
Awesome. Well,
I can attest the deer like Tyler's food plots.
They do.
yeah.
Yeah, because he shared his trail cam with me, so I can see his trail cam pictures. And then I'll text him and be like, dude, are you in the stand looking at that giant buck in your field? He's like, no, I'm chasing a goose.
That giant buck 10 feet from your blind.
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Like,
Wrong
oh, no,
time.
it's been like most of the last 10 days. He's had a shooter buck on camera.
In
and he's-
daylight.
In daylight. And he's like,
Daylight,
yeah, I'm
20 yards from my
goose
blind.
hunting.
Yeah.
What?
I hunted yesterday. I saw 10 deer.
Because
Nothing-
nobody listens to me, Alan.
nothing-
That's why.
Yeah, it's been. I'll get him eventually. It's coming.
If
You
you
don't
don't,
want it
I'm
to be
going
over
to.
too soon.
Yeah,
I'm going to
exactly.
start going to his house after work or on my way to work and shoot.
He's
a deer
already
for
like
him.
a 60-year-old guy. I just like watching him.
Yeah.
He just likes to
well, I
watch.
was
I
telling
don't want to
Steve-
shoot a delicious pheasant.
I was telling
Yeah.
Steve it was my first time. So I saw 10 deer yesterday, and it was one of the best hunts of my life. I pulled up on a spike I wasn't going to shoot it, but I've never gotten so much enjoyment out of just watching deer.
Yeah.
Especially with the route right now, watching bucks chase does. I had a rooster at 15 yards that I haven't seen in a year probably. But it was funny. It was the first time when I see a deer, I was pulling out my phone. not my
Not
my bow.
Not your weapon.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. And I was
Yeah.
getting just as much enjoyment out of
thanks.
just video.
Oh
It was.
man, yeah, you do sound like you're getting my
I
age.
know.
It's
Just
like
appreciating the sport.
Yeah.
getting stories for his book, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
Tyler's book.
Yeah.
Cheerleading and hunting, the Tyler Mihai story.
My memoir.
Softer than baby shit.
Okay.
Tyler was an MSU cheerleader in college.
Oh.
So yeah, that's one of our running jokes.
Oh yeah, that's gonna
Probably
get
have
you
to
some
cut
grief.
that joke, but
Yeah.
it's worth it.
Yeah.
That's all right. No, but so Alan, we really appreciate you coming on, man, and making the trip in and chatting with us about the book.
Yeah, thanks guys.
So all of our listeners, make sure to go grab For Everything There Is a Season and Outside in Shorts, and get a good read in, take it out to the stand, take it on road trips. And,
Yeah, it's a good stand. It's a good
yeah.
stand book for sure.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. And then we have a couple MUCC updates to get through before we end. Steve, you want to get into that?
Yeah, so we have year-end giving that's coming up. So we are going to be producing our basically year review. It's not going to be our annual report yet. That'll be out later in 2025. But year-end giving is coming around. So as you start to think about feeling charitable this time of year in the holiday seasons and thinking of those who could use support and generosity, think of MUCC. For 87 years, we've been uniting citizens to conserve, protect, and enhance our natural resources and outdoor heritage. And it only happens because of our members and because of the support we get from all the outdoors enthusiasts around the state. As we said earlier, Michigan's a very unique and amazing place, and we want to make sure that we insulate our natural resources policy from political and social agendas. We want to educate that next generation of conservation stewards. We want to improve those public lands and habitats. We want to make sure that sportsmen and women are updated on all the things they need to know about in the state of Michigan. So join. You can gift memberships. You can make a donation. You can shop on our website, and also keep an eye out for the calendar. The calendar is going to be dropping here really soon, probably not too long after this episode airs. Has all your season dates in it, has all your application periods, it's got your outdoor show dates, it'll have MUCC fundraisers in there, and it's a great gift for any of the outdoors enthusiasts in your life. And you actually can get a knife and or a cooler this year based on your size of gift. We got a really great knife from Marbles and a really sweet branded cooler that's a 20 can cooler.
Yep.
So keep your drinks cold and get the knife.
And
Be a good
maybe there will be waterfowl dates in the calendar. We're
If-
still figuring it out because they're not set yet,
Yeah, if
and
they
they're
get
getting
set.
proposed in like March. So I'm trying to figure out what they're going to be.
Yeah.
Well, and the other last thing that we have too is right now we are doing a membership survey. So MUCC is kind of wanting to hear from all of you out there, whether you're a member or you're not a member. We have a survey out there that if you click yes, I'm a member, it takes you through a survey to help us get more feedback about what you value, what you'd like to see, how much you utilize your membership and the opportunities. If you're not a member, it takes you through a different track of questions to help us understand what could make you a member, what's going to add value to you to join MUCC and be part of the nation's largest, most successful statewide conservation nonprofit. So we want to grow our numbers, as we said. We want to hit 100,000. We want to hit 200,000. There's 700,000 deer license holders in the state of Michigan. We should be having as many of those people be joining MUCC as we can. So we really want to get some feedback from the public and from our membership. And so anybody who takes the survey and fills it out, takes about 3 to 5 minutes. But if you take the survey, you will be entered in to win a firearm, which we have on the desk. I'm not sure if you can see it, how the cameras are, but
show it?
let me grab it really fast.
We have to have it in the case because YouTube and Facebook hate freedom, and we can't show guns.
So if this part of the show gets cut, we can lose this part, but we didn't want to get the whole episode.
yeah,
screwed
we
up.
didn't lose the episode. So
Let's see. As I hit my face.
Oh wait, he's taking it all out right now. No, what? You're defeating the whole purpose.
Well, we can cut this part if we need to, but you're going to get a Radical Arms AR-15.
Not chamber flag.
It's kitted out.
It's
with,
100% getting cut.
6 Sauer and a foregrip, and you get magazines, you get some ammo, you get a case with it as well. So this is all. You can win this just by going to take our survey and give us some feedback.
You just
So-
made extra work for Tyler.
Do you want to redo that?
No.
Because he's screaming it's not flagged. This is going to get cut.
Yeah, and you have the bolt towards the thing.
Well,
So
why? Where's the flag?
because we weren't supposed to get
It's
the
on
gun out.
It's on the ground over here. Yeah, I was just going to show the case.
Oh, I thought you wanted the gun out.
No, I was
No.
going to show the
Oh.
case.
You need to pay attention.
Put that back. Oh, as I flag you.
All right, so we'll just start this all over.
All right, so we'll start this again.
I was going to literally just, pull the case towards you, show the
Yeah.
case, and say there is a really nice firearm inside.
Leave in the part about YouTube
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Facebook
yeah,
gaining
yeah.
freedom. Because that
All
part's
right.
still true.
Well, and the last thing we have going on right now is our membership survey. So MUCC is wanting some feedback from both our members and the general public. Our membership is going to be asked about what adds value, how much do they utilize the membership, why are they members, and how can we enhance that membership and make it a better thing for those who are already members. If you're not a member, you're going to get some feedback. We're going to look for some feedback on what would make you a member. So what opportunities can we offer? What are you looking for in a conservation organization, in this community that we're forming? What adds value to it, and really kind of grow our numbers, as there's 700,000 deer license holders in the state of Michigan. We should be up well over 100,000 members of MUCC, as we are protecting our right to hunt, fish, and trap, educating the next generation, improving public lands, and also making sure that sportsmen and women are educated and communicated with on all the important items. And if you do take our membership, right here in this awesome case
Take
is
our survey.
our survey,
Yeah.
membership survey. You're going to be entered in to win a firearm. So we have a really cool opportunity here. We're going to have ammo. We have some, accessories for the firearm. You get the case here included, and you get to have a Radical Arms AR-15, which is going to be great. So all you got to do is hop online, go to our Facebook page, go to our LinkedIn page, go to any of our social pages, take the survey, 3 to 5 minutes, and you could be a proud new owner of a brand new firearm, which will be great.
Why can't we show the gun, Tyler?
Because it will get taken down.
No.
People hate freedom.
Thank you. YouTube and Facebook hate freedom.
I did take the survey last Friday, I
Yep.
think, when you guys started promoting it. It is
awesome.
it is really quick and really really easy. So
Awesome.
We're
it
getting
makes
a
no
lot
time.
of fun responses too. So people actually listen to this, and that was a little bit surprising to us when we're reading through the comments, and a handful of people unprompted wrote, "We like the podcast."
Yeah.
So you
Thanks,
win that.
Mom.
You win that
Yeah.
buck pole. Yeah, right. It was my wife.
It does run until November 30th is the last day to fill out the survey.
There
Yep.
you go. And so it was cool. It's cool to do it. So do it. Win a gun.
Help us make MUCC better.
Yeah. Coolio.
All right. Well, Alan, thank you so much for coming in. It was
Yeah, man.
great to have you.
yeah, thanks guys.
Appreciate it.
Good time.
Awesome.
right.
See you guys.